On today's show, we're going to talk about all the latest in tech. What do you need to do? What do you need to have inside your salon to make the greatest comeback ever? Let's do it.
Salon owners are some of the most amazing people on planet Earth. The only problem is sometimes their hearts are so big and they give so much of themselves to their staff and guests that it creates unintended consequences. Our goal is to change the industry by elevating the way the rest of the world sees salons, spas, and barbershops and give it the credibility that it truly deserves. This is the Salon Owner Evo Revo Show.
Tech. What's up, Doug? Today we are talking technology because inside the salon, man, holy crap. If you didn't think technology was something that you needed to adapt and adopt and get installed, Doug, it's changed a lot, especially in the last couple of months. I mean, for so many salons, I think they've been living in, 1987 technology-wise in the salon industry, and there was some that were able to get away with it. But in the last couple of months, man, you can't avoid it. Tech is here. It's got to be involved in every piece of the business, yeah?
Yeah, you gotta embrace it. You can't be afraid of it anymore. You just got to lean into it. And I think the biggest thing with tech, you just got to start using it. You're going to screw it up. There's going to be some hiccups, but if you don't start using it, then you're going to be left behind quickly, especially the way things are evolving right now.
100%. And today's guest, I think you guys are going to really like. Speaking of technology, I think there's no better person we could have on the podcast today other than Stacy Sobel from SalonToday.com. What is going on, Stacy? It's good to see you.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Just still sheltering in place at home and working from home. So
yeah, I love it. Well, I appreciate you here. And again, talking about sheltering in place and doing your thing, that through the magic of technology, we get to interview you even from your home. So thank you for coming to us. Again, if you guys don't know, SalonToday.com, Salon Today magazine, the Salon 200 data-driven salon event that you guys run. There's just a few million things that you guys do over there at SalonToday.com, yeah?
We have our hands in lots of activities 24/7.
Yeah, you guys, and again, you guys, being a magazine and then an online presence and then having all of these live events. I mean, I'm sure you guys have had to pivot with your technology as things go forward. And again, doing more things like, podcast interviews and things like that. What are some of the big changes you're seeing, Stacy, in the tech space for salons? Because I think you've even, you've talked about this, and for Salon Today, for Salon 200, I'm sure that's going to be a lot of the people who are on that list are people who've made some tech pivots.
Yeah, well, we actually just went to press this morning with a special issue all about technology in the salon. And the focus is really the new technology that some of our tech manufacturers are in the beauty space rolled out while we were in quarantine.
Yeah.
So that salons could better adapt to this new client experience and, all the regulations that they have to have now with social distancing. And so all these little tech features are helping them accommodate that, give a better service, continue to up the experience.
Yeah, and by the way, if you guys are, those of you that are watching this live right now with me, do me a favor and comment live in the comment section because I want to know that you're here with me live. And then what I'd like to know is what is the tech that has really saved your bacon more than anything else during this process? Like, what's the tech? Has it been like a curbside check-in? Has it been like a touchless checkout experience? Is there a piece of tech? Yeah, e-com, that's a great point, right? We had a lot of people who were doing like root rescue kits, and they were selling that online. We brought in a tech expert into the High Performance Salon Academy to train people on how to do that. What are the things that you guys are using in your salon that have saved your, I said bacon, I'm going to say butt this time, that have saved your butt inside the salon and really helped you add some revenue? Stacy, what are some of the big things? Like, can I get a sneak preview of what's coming out in the new magazine? Like, what are some of the pieces?
Yeah,
can I
get
some
of the things we cover are e-commerce. So how people brought that on while they were closed, when they couldn't do services.
Yeah.
Whether they did something like Salon Interactive, where the products got shipped from the distributor, or they were bringing in some team members, employing a few team members during the shutdown to package up boxes and send them out to people.
Yeah.
So a lot of salons launched e-commerce sites, and a lot of these tech manufacturers made it very simple for them to do so and get them up and running in a day or two.
Yeah, and so
e-commerce
was big,
really
big
helped
deal.
people bring some sales in when they couldn't do services.
Yeah, 100%. So e-com was a big one. What else are you seeing, Stacy?
So then before they opened, we saw a lot of people doing virtual consultations.
Yeah.
That helped, kind of figure out what people had done to their hair while they were in quarantine, whether they took color into their own hands or that they just had really long roots. And so then the stylist was best prepared. If they did that consultation, it saved time in the chair, because when you came back to the salon, you were limited to how many people you could have, depending on the state, limited how many people you could have or how many chairs you could have open because of social distancing. So you wanted to make every minute of that chair productive. So if you could shift the consultation to virtual the day before, the evening before, the morning of, then you were able to turn more clients over in the chair when you opened.
100%. We had people doing virtual consultations inside our academy, and they said, look, we did virtual consultations during quarantine to help people, but they said they're here to stay like permanently, because they said the amount of money that they save, this is from Letty in our academy, from Pure Posh, shout out to Letty, by the way. She said that she started doing virtual consults, and she said, I would save hours because people would come in and have a long service booked that I couldn't help them with. And if I did a virtual consultation, I could have been able to tell that I wouldn't have been able to have that booked on my calendar for 2 hours or whatever the consultation time or consultation plus service would have been. And she said in some cases, I also booked longer appointments because of that virtual consultation. So save the guest time from, driving in and coming to the location and driving in, driving back to have that consultation, and then to book the right amount of time. So they said digital consultations 100% here to stay going forward in the future. So we talked e-com. We talked virtual consultation. Can you give me a third big thing? And again, guys, type in what you're using for tech right now in the chat. I want to know. What's a third one, Stacy?
I'll give you two.
Oh, okay. The third and fourth.
Bonus.
Curbside check-in. So a lot of salons got rid of their waiting areas, or at least shut them down temporarily. So people are driving to the parking lot, and there are apps now that will recognize. You can draw the perimeter geographically around your salon,
like a geofence.
So that you know when that client, if they've downloaded your app, you know when that client has hit that perimeter.
Wow.
And then you can text them and say, please wait in your car. We've just checked you in. Please wait in your car. We'll text you when your service provider is ready, so that they're not standing in the salon waiting. And then the other one is the ability to upload digital forms into your platform. So a lot of people are doing hold harmless waivers or health waivers, and you have to hold on to those for 7 years to be compliant. So to turn that into digital saves a lot of space in the salon. You're not storing all that paper. But you can also, text. My salon texted me that waiver while I was in the parking lot before I checked in. So I had it all, everything was filled out. When I walked in, they just took my temperature, and then I was good to go. So.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I think, being able to use that tech, and again, I think sometimes there's two types of salon owners, Stacy, if I was to call it out, and Doug, tell me what you think about this. But I think there's the salon owners that love the tech, adapt the tech, adopt the tech, and they love it and they want it as a part of their business. And then there's another salon owner that's like, it's one more thing I got to do that makes my life hard.
Yeah.
And I want to do it. Like, Doug, what have you seen as far as people adopting and adapting to tech?
Well, I mean, I think one of the things I think is really big is that getting away from paper, because it's been a thing people have kind of done for different reasons. But now that to be less contact, like credit card receipts. There's our terminals don't even print paper anymore.
Yeah.
And then to the point about the getting the hold harmless, but also just doing your consultation, those becoming digital, doing those on iPads, using programs like Notability. To go and get your form, bring your form into there, and you fill it out right on Notability, load it right up. Some of the softwares, some of the POS systems are really getting to the point that they've got their own internal consultation sheet that you can do and load right up, and it goes immediately to their profile. So I think a lot of those things, it's just different. I mean, it was, especially if you've been around the business for a while, paper was a big part of how pushing paper around. And now they're not doing that. One of the things we use a lot, and we use a lot more of now, is Trello. All of our training manuals have gone away. They're, again, the least number of things that you can be touching right now or passing between each other, the better.
Yeah.
And I think
Great
it's a lot.
point.
People are starting to embrace it. I think whenever people realize that they're not storing all this stuff anymore physically, but doing it digitally has made a big difference. I think And it saves money too. I mean, at the end of the day, which is a great thing. I mean, it's good when you can do these things. A lot of things that we're having to do because of COVID is costing money, but some of the things are actually saving money. So that going paperless saves money. I mean, you're not buying all that receipt paper anymore. You're not having all that other stuff that's being printed out. So you're not printing stuff. You're not having paper that you're having to buy. So that's a good plus.
Yeah. Yeah, and by the way, when we come back, I want to talk about how do you make that shift. And by the way, guys, comment in the comment section and say if you love tech, if you avoid tech, or if you're somewhere in between, do me a favor and comment in the comment section. But we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back in literally 45 seconds. We'll be back, and then we're going to talk about how do you get more tech implemented inside your salon. We'll be right back. Stick around. So speaking of tech, I kind of snuck in a really big announcement, which was we have our brand new Salon Owner.tv app. Speaking of technology and getting things implemented, and Stacy, I want to hear from you, and Doug, I want to hear from you too on this. Is like, knowing that so many people, to your point on being contactless or can't bring in experts into the salon anymore, the amount of digital education people are consuming is through the roof. And there's a lot of place out there to go get digital education as a stylist, but not a lot of place to go get digital education as a salon owner. And if you want help as a salon owner, check out our all new Salon Owner.tv app, which is available for iPhone and Android, and coming soon to Roku and Apple TV. Really incredible platform. If you're interested in Salon Owner.tv, do me a favor, just comment in the comment section with Salon Owner.tv, and we'll send you all the details. You can check it out, or just go to Salon Owner.tv. But Stacy, what are some other things? How have you seen salons that are doing this well and implementing it inside their salons? What are some of the things that you've seen that have helped them implement it quicker, faster, better, and take technology to the area it deserves with these people?
We're really having a good relationship with your POS provider, because a lot of them implemented these things automatically. So it was just learning how to use them and getting the updates. But then when you're talking about going paperless, it's also cashless. So we're seeing a lot of people go cashless, whether they're doing the chairside checkout where the stylist can put in any upgrades on the service, or talk to them about retail and then add the products there. People, clients don't want to touch all the products on the retail shelves. You don't really want clients touching all the products on the retail shelves. So how can you streamline that retail process so that it's just, you're limiting the number of people that are handling everything? And then the cashless, checking out chairside, but also tip management apps like Tippy, where people aren't tipping in cash anymore, but tipping digitally. A lot of people have brought that on during the.
That's what I was gonna say. We do a lot of work. There's a couple companies we work with pretty well, and we've had a lot of people implement Tippy. There's another tool that we've had people implement called Salon Scale up out of Canada. I don't know if you've heard about those guys. We actually have helped salons implement Salon Scale. And by the way, you guys, if you haven't heard about these guys, you check them out. Salon Scale, we literally implemented a tool with them where they put this tool in place. It's about managing your back bar, and we did a whole training on it. And a lot of salons, literally, Stacy, found between $25,000 and $75,000 in new profit for their business by just implementing this one tech tool called Salon Scale. Right. If you want more information, comment Salon Scale. We'll get you the details. But Stacy, what you're talking about is like Tippy, Salon Scale. What are some other apps and tools that you have seen salons implement that have just been invaluable during this right now? Like curbside check-in. You mentioned some of the apps. What are some of those?
Well, Salon Clouds Plus, they do a lot of the app development for a lot of the PO systems, but they also, people have them themselves. But it's a client-facing app and a stylist-facing app. So and then things like Zzor that measure, client team engagement and and all your stats in your team. Those are things we were seeing over the past couple of years. And
Yeah.
then all the color management apps, you talked about Salon Scale, but there are several others out there too.
Yep.
And it's not just about eliminating the waste, but it's also making sure you're capturing the price of the service accurately.
100%.
Because a stylist can like upgrade, in the chair, and then they forget to add that on, or the front desk didn't know
Yep.
they added some extra highlights in. So it's capturing the service accurately and charging for it accurately. So people are finding, a lot of savings that are way far exceeding what they're paying for that technology just by eliminating the waste and charging appropriately for things.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that's it, right? Is when you start to use technology to your advantage. And I think the salon industry has really been, I think in my opinion, slower to adopt technology than other places. If I'm being really honest. I mean, Doug, would you agree that there's people who just have been slower to implement inside the salon world? Some get it, but I think the whole industry as a whole has been slower to adopt tech.
Yeah, I mean, from the old paper book schedules, I mean, those took forever to go away because people were so comfortable with them. I mean, people said your book literally used to have a book that had that stuff on it. And like going with the cashless and stuff now too, is a lot of the POS systems will securely store credit cards. And so you don't even have to exchange a credit card anymore. You can just say, hey, do you want to use the credit card we have on file? And you just click the button and it's done. Nothing was exchanged between the two people at all. So I think those are things that you just have to make sure that your system does it and that it's secure. It's on them. It's handled in their cloud, so it's not something you have to have security for. Right. But a lot of those things are in place, and so it just becomes easier and easier. And then when they're booking and buying things, otherwise, that's already in there. It's stored, so it makes it super convenient.
Yeah, one of the things I was actually out, and Stacey, I'm curious your thoughts on the future of tech and what are some things that you think are needed in the industry in just a second. Because I want to say one of the things I've seen, I was out at a restaurant. There's a restaurant around me called BJ's and BJ's Brew House. And I went in and they just gave me this little slip of paper that said, scan this and view the menu from your phone, right? Talking about touchless experience, right? So I could scan it, view the menu from my phone, and go through the whole ordering process without physically touching a menu. And then at the end of the service, they brought me a digital check that it had the check on it, but then had a little QR code that said scan it. And then I was able to pay using my Apple Pay on my phone directly from my phone. So the receipt process was touchless. The menu process was touchless. And that was an adaptation that these restaurants have made, at least this specific restaurant. What's some of the tech, Stacey, and I don't know if you got this on your radar, but what's some of the tech that you think the salon industry needs, or hot new tech that's coming out that is just on the very early stages of getting used in the salon industry? Because I feel like you're on the cutting edge of that.
Yeah, well, it is out there. I haven't seen a ton of salons embrace it yet, but AI and having through a chat bot through your website answer questions, and simple things like how many calls do you get a day for clients checking what their appointment time is because they forgot, or asking basic questions like where your salon's located, or what your hours are, what services you have available, but not barraging the front desk with that, but having that answered electronically before you get to a point where a human has to interact.
Right, but so AI is coming to the salon industry. I know. I think it was a symposium 2 years ago, Doug. I can't remember exactly where it was at, but they showed me a Google Assistant calling a salon to book an appointment, and I shared that.
We had that at Data Driven last year.
Yeah, we ran at Data Driven, and I think it's one of those things that, like, when you see what actually happens is that AI is coming to the salon industry. And I think, the salon industry is such a high touch environment. People start to get really worried. They're like, well, it's not going to be the same experience, or everybody's going to know, or, there's all these things. I think there's so many tech tools that we need to start really looking at and say, how do we bring artificial intelligence into the salon world, so long as, and this is a really important thing in my opinion, Stacey, so long as it enhances the guest experience. Because a lot of people deal with this. They go, you know what? It's better for me, so I'm going to implement it. Look, it's got to be better for you and better for the guests. But more importantly, does it make the guest experience better? And then is it good for you? You have to look at it that way with any tool that you implement, whether it's AI or any other thing that you've got going on. And I think that's such a huge thing to make sure that you've got your client's best interest at heart. Otherwise, they're not going to want to adopt or adapt to that tech. Your client's not, and therefore it's not going to help the salon.
And, I don't think we ever want to take the humanity out of the salon appointment, and
Right.
you can't. And
You
we can
can't.
never make it truly contactless. They're always going to have to touch you to do your hair, do a spa
Right.
service.
Yeah.
But all those other points, at least now, when people are so concerned about coronavirus, like trying to limit those contact things. But I think that once people embrace them and clients are comfortable with that new technology, people are going to find it's easier to work with than the old systems. So
Yeah.
I think this pandemic is helping move the salon industry in that direction of adopting technology faster. But I think they're going to find they're going to want to keep it even when the world returns to normal, if it ever does.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm still living on the bus. If it's going to return to some sense of normal, I'm still living on that reality until proven otherwise. But you mentioned something. You snuck it in, Stacy. I know people can go to salontoday.com, check out amazing things from you. If you don't already have a subscription, a physical subscription, or if you just want to go online and check out all the cool stuff on salontoday.com.
We have a digital version too.
Go get the digital version. But you mentioned something. You snuck into the conversation about the data-driven event. You guys are considering doing that digitally this year, yeah?
We are considering doing it digitally in the fall, and instead of like a solid 2-day event, because I think it's really hard to be on a webinar for multiple hours or for a day. So we're looking at doing it as a series of 5 evening events that are a couple hours long.
Yeah, 100%. And by the way, if people want to get that, they should go on the website, pay attention, go and attend. Doug and I have been to Data Driven, not the digital version, but the last live Data Driven. Doug and I were there. It was a great event. If you really want to find and interact with other data-driven salon owners that know that the data tells a story and it shows you the difference of how you can actually go from a salon owner not making money or making a little bit of money to a salon owner making money, great event to do. Speaking of live events, Doug and I, grab your stuff out, Doug. We're doing our first ever 100% live digital training. These are actually some goodies from that training that are coming up and in play because, to your point, Stacy, you've got to make these digital events exceptional, right? We've got so many crazy things up our sleeves. We were supposed to all be on a plane. Actually, today I would have been on a plane. I would have been on a plane today, flying to Boston to do a training, but we can't get together because we have more than 100 people doing a digital training. We're calling it Boston, even though we're not in Boston. We said, look, if you can't come to Boston, we're going to bring Boston to you. And we literally shipped them out boxes with all these goodies from Boston. They're going to be getting tons of training. And I think, Stacey, this is the thing in my mind. I think that it's actually going to be a better event because I have speakers from all over the world that didn't have to fly into Boston to be there and wipe out 3 or 4 days of their time to even fly and be there to speak for 45 minutes or an hour. I've got people from all over the world who are going to be at this event for our Boston training. And I think that even though there's some definite downgrades to not being able to see all your friends and do all that connecting that people love to do, I think there's going to be more goods than bads. I think it's forced tech adoption. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think we'll see attendance at these things go up because a salon might only be able to afford to send the owner and the manager to something like Data Driven, but if we're doing it virtually, the whole team, can weigh in. So.
Yeah, 2,000%. I agree with you, Stacey, completely. By the way, if you want to find out about coming to one of our next digital trainings and be able to attend, do me a favor and say digital down in the comment section. We'll make sure that we get you that information. Stacey, anything you want to say about digital and tech and where we're headed, provided we go back to some sense of normal, to your point, where we're headed? Anything else you want to say about where we're at from a tech standpoint today before we wrap?
I think we've touched on a lot of it. I do want to throw out there that around the office, they call me the contest queen because we have the Salon Today 200 and Stamp, which is a marketing competition, and Salons of the Year, which is a salon decor competition. And we've taken those and, they used to be paper applications. They're all digital now.
Yeah.
And we're, still trying to figure out how to make that switch ourselves. So
yeah. So are you open for application for Salon 200 right now? And then also the marketing one, are those open or how's that?
The marketing one just closed
end
of June, and then we're going to roll over to Salon Today 200. I'm in the process of kind of revamping the application because of the pandemic. We want to kind of address, and Salon Today 200, actually, this next one will be measuring the year 2019, so sales between 2018 and 2019. But I still think that we need to address what's happening right now. So we're looking at adding some questions in about survival and trying to harness some of those great ideas that salon owners had to keep their businesses going during the pandemic and getting them back on their feet now.
100%, 100%. And Stacey, I think that you just nailed it, is that more people have had great ideas during this pandemic than probably the last 5 or 10 years inside the salon industry. It's happening way faster than it was ever before because it's required. And if you got some great ideas out of today's podcast, do me a favor and say great ideas. Stacey, I know this was valuable for me to talk with you. I really appreciate you coming on, being a part of the podcast, and sharing with us some of the tech that is happening inside the industry. You guys, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. I can't wait to have you guys on another podcast soon. Stacey, I hope you'll join us another time in the not too distant future.
Absolutely.
All right. Have a great day. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Later.
Revo podcast. If you liked today's episode, please subscribe, leave us a review, and you can always get more information, including show notes and the video episodes at evorevopodcast.com.